Welcome to this unique build-from-scratch demonstration of Altosoft's business intelligence solutions. Most business intelligence companies are happy to show you a very nice demonstration of a finished dashboard. But what they don't like to show you is how you actually build that dashboard, what it takes to get to that dashboard. Altosoft customers are always blown away by how fast and easy it is to build very powerful, interactive dashboards using Altosoft solutions. And today I'm going to show you exactly how that's done. In just 15 minutes, which is unprecedented, I'm going to build a complete dashboard with full support for interactive dimensional analysis, plus an optimized, self-maintaining data mart for high performance and scalability. I'll use data from multiple data sources, including a SQL Server database and Microsoft Excel. And I'm going to do all this without writing a single line of SQL code or using any kind of proprietary scripting language. With Altosoft, it's easy. It all starts with the 5-step guide that you see right here. Today we'll simply work our way through this guide to a solution. We'll also have an advanced capability to show as well, as you can see the advanced guide for building more complex metrics in an enterprise environment, but for today we'll just stick to the basic guide. Our scenario here is pretty simple. We have a company that we're going to call Urban Appetite, and this company basically is in a mechanism where they have orders coming in using an order management system, which is going to be our SQL Server database. And they want to analyze where those orders are coming from. They want to be able to spot trends. They want to understand who their top sales performers are. We're going to put up a forecast as well from an Excel spreadsheet so we can see how we're performing against that forecast. So with that, let's jump right into it and start by creating a new metric. Here you can see we can create a basic metric or a more complex on-demand metric. For now, we'll just stick with the basic metric and use the basic metric development wizard that you see right here. For this first metric, we'll just do a simple count of all the orders that are coming in. So we'll know how many orders are coming in over time within our system. We can add a quick description here and then click to the next step in the wizard. Now we identify the data source, and we have our smart mart, which is going to be basically the mart that we eventually create, but we'll define a new data source here, and that will be our Northwind order management system. And in this case, Northwind is in SQL Server, but you can see we also have a variety of other different types of databases we can connect to, as well as different providers. We'll add the server name and the database name. Just quickly authenticate and test the connection here so we can make sure that we're adequately connected to our first data source. Now from there, within that data source, we'll identify the tables that we're going to use for this metric. The first table, or the root table, will be the orders table, and then we're going to add a table by associating with that orders table another table, in this case the order details table. You'll see here we'll select the order ID as the field that matches between the, and you can see Altosoft automatically makes that match. Now we'll go ahead and we'll define another relationship here between various database tables. In this case, it'll be the orders table and the employees table because we want to analyze orders by employees. And again, this time we'll set up the field matching employee ID to employee ID. You see the Altosoft system automatically making that match for you. Of course, if you need to, you can select from any field in that employees table as well and match that to the employee ID, or again use an advanced relationship. We'll go back here again. As you can see here, we have the ability to filter the data as well. So for example, if you wanted to only look at 2007 data, you could add a time filter to do that. Here we're going to define a time field, which defines the time dimension associated with our metric that we're creating. In this case, it's going to be the order date. And move on to the next step, which is setting the dimensions associated with this particular metric. And here I just have the option to pick the various fields that I want to use as dimensions. In this case, it's going to be city, country, and last name. And since I don't want last name showing up on my dashboard, I'm just going to call that employee. So now in my dashboard, I'll be able to break things down by shipping country, shipping city, and employee. And we'll just quickly click to the next step in the wizard. You can see this is an on-demand metric. I can also convert this to a pre-processed metric, which would automatically move that into my smart data mart, but for now I'll just leave that as an on-demand metric. And then finally I can test this metric just by clicking test right here, and that will bring up the testing wizard panel. I can pick a time frame that I want to actually run the test from, pick the dimensional breakdown that I want to see in order, and then quickly run the test. And you can see here that we'll get some good results in terms of the various order count from each country coming in by city, and then finally by employee within those test results. So our metric is now complete. We can finish that. You can see this table has been, or this form has been filled out with all the selections that we just configured. You can also use this to make the selections directly if you prefer that to the wizard. And we've created our first metric. And now we'll move on to create a second metric. Here we'll use another basic metric. And in this particular case, we're going to call this the order revenue metric. It'll be a little bit more complicated. We're going to figure out the revenue associated with each order over time as those orders come in. Again, we have the opportunity to define our data source here, but since we already know that it's our Northwind data source, we can just simply copy the data source and the relationships from the previous metric. So we get a jump start on this particular metric. Move forward to the next step here and define the time field. Again, this is going to be order date. We can skip past that. And now we're going to define the calculation that we're going to use. Instead of a count, we're going to actually use a sum in this case. And this is going to be, we're going to actually define a new calculated field that describes this particular metric. And in this case, it's going to be the price times the quantity, which of course equals revenue. And we use this simple expression editor to define this equation. We also have the opportunity to use a more advanced expression editor, which gives you full capability for advanced expressions using conditional statements, external functions, reusable formulas, and a lot of power and capability here. But for now, again, just quite simply using that simple price times quantity metric that we're able to define in the simple editor, and then move forward to the next step. Our dimensions are the same: city, country, and employee. We'll go forward. Again, we have the opportunity to convert, but we won't do that at this time. And then finally, we can finish this metric. So we've already defined two metrics. And again, you can see that's completed in the form there. And we'll go back and we'll create another metric here very quickly. And in this case, it will be another basic metric, again using our wizard. And we'll call this metric our revenue forecast metric. And this will be a metric that actually uses an Excel spreadsheet, an external forecast that we developed in an Excel spreadsheet, and we'll base this metric off of that. So we'll have to define a new data source for that, which will be our Excel spreadsheet. And we'll just quickly define that data sheet as, or that spreadsheet as the forecast spreadsheet. Set it to Excel, define the source of that file on my desktop. Test the connection, make sure everything's working correctly, and it looks like it is. So now we're good to go with that, and we can bring in the particular table that we want from that spreadsheet, which is going to be our forecast table, and we'll move forward to the next step. Again, we'll pick our time field here, and in this case that will be the date field. And we're going to, as our aggregation, pick a sum and specify, in this case, just simply the record value, the sales target that we want in that data sheet. There are no dimensions associated with this. In this case with Excel, we actually do want to convert to a pre-processed metric because the performance of an Excel spreadsheet from a continuous query perspective isn't that high. So in this case, we'll pick a calculation interval of 1 day and basically load that Excel spreadsheet into our SmartMart. We can finish that metric, and now we've defined that metric, and that is complete.